team.
Which division?
Premier, absolute premier.
How can we be in the same team if we're divided? No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work at all. And we are officially live.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone! It's finally here after all the preparation.
Yeah. Happy Hanukkah.
Yay, day one down. Another 7 to go.
Yeah. I shouldn't be exhausted on the first night of Hanukkah already. I don't think I've paced myself particularly well on this evening.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to be joining us on the Matzah Shabbat after Shabbat?
Yeah, clear.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, very, very nice.
Lovely. Yeah, dress warmly.
Those who are coming, dress warmly. Those who are joining us on Zoom, please don't rub it in the fact that you're toasty while we're
freezing.
Yeah. We actually don't give this away to people because it's supposed to be a surprise, but we're
on Facebook.
We're actually giving out. Don't tell anyone. We're giving out hand warmers to everyone who's coming.
Oh, no, what? Hand warmers.
We do like tea and coffee, but obviously it makes it difficult with masks and everything. So we thought, so we've currently got a few hundred hand warmers in our house.
With no donuts.
But no donuts. No donuts. Other treats, but no donuts.
Oh.
Yeah. If anyone needs an internal hand warmer called a whiskey, you can feel free to take that as well before you arrive. Purely for medicinal purposes. Chaim, everyone.
Chaim.
You should drink in good health.
Jacqueline, my son used those hand warmers when we were eating in the sukkah one evening when it was really cold. They were brilliant.
I think a nice thing is that we have a flexible date for Hanukkah. I mean, Christmas is always December the 25th. Whichever year it is, it's always December the 25th. But we can have ours early or we can have it late. It's never on time.
Exactly. I was just going to say, never on time, is it? We always complain, whichever end it falls.
Well, you jest, Lawrence, but you could Google this. I don't want to pick on any particular denomination of Judaism, but I am aware that it's possible that one denomination on a particular year tried to move Hanukkah to a more appropriate date because it didn't fall the way that they wanted it to, so they thought they would shift it a little bit. Yeah. Listen, I respect the flexibility. I'm not 100% sure it works like that, but nevertheless, it is when it is. I think last year, what happened last year? Was it around Christmas time last year?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Stella. So what are you doing this year, Stella? Anything a bit different last year?
Not making dinner for about 200 people now.
Oh, what a shame.
Wasn't that wonderful though? Don't we miss those? That craziness.
What a different year. What a different year.
I know, it's just from last year to now, it's just unreal. You just can't, everything you think about that you did last year at this time.
Well, we've lost a year.
Yes, literally. Yeah.
There's a phenomena about how time is going quickly for everybody because you're not making memories. I was reading about, I don't know if the week goes fast for everybody. Always seems to be Friday night. And reading about it today, a phenomenon.
What are you looking for?
We're not making memories like we normally do by all the things we're engaged with. So that's why time seems to be going so much quicker.
It's so interesting you say that, Stuart, because I can't believe it's Thursday night again.
Exactly. I always say it's on Friday when I light my candles. It's Friday.
Yeah. What happened this week? I can't.
I can tell you.
Quite a lot. But I can't believe just how that it's already nearly Shabbat. Yeah. Thank you.
Lawrence, what are you saying?
Well, people often say the exact opposite. They say that when you're busy, time flies. And it's when you're having nothing to do and you're just sitting there that time drags.
No,
What do you think? What do you think, Lawrence? What do you think? Are we going? Is time going quickly or slowly for you?
Me or Lawrence?
No, Lawrence Golan. Sorry.
Time has gone reasonably quickly for me, but I've been probably extremely busy work-wise. So from that, to that extent, it's probably difficult to measure. But if I wasn't working, and I put myself, for instance, in my parents' situation, I would think that time was going very slowly.
Okay. Okay. Stuart, you're experiencing a different phenomenon.
Well, yes, and everybody I speak to says the weeks just fly past. And I actually Googled it today and looked it up, and that there is a phenomena about it, that if you're busy out there all the time actually doesn't go that quickly. It goes steadily. But because we're not out there doing the normal things for a lot of us, out and about and building up memories, time just flits past. If you
I'm not
Google this,
building up
you-
my diary for next year.
Yeah.
I'm
What
not
cer-
building up. That's right.
Yeah. What certainly seems to be true is that as the years go by, and I don't think it's just the world, it's as one gets older, time seems to go faster and faster.
Yes.
And I think partly that is that when you're 10 years old,
You have
a
to
year
see
is 10% of your whole
culture.
life, and your life is changing quite a lot at that age. And when you're 100 years old, a year is only 1% of the life that you've experienced so far. Although I think technology as well has probably changed the speed of things happening for us.
Lawrence Goland, but to everyone, one of my favorite stories. I visited my grandmother in her home, her retirement home. She must have been in her very early 90s, and I was looking around the house because I had never been to her new flat when she had downsized to, and I noticed that there was a clock on the wall, like one of these baby, it wasn't a proper grandfather clock. It was one of these smaller ones, but it was quite striking. And I said, Grandma, that's such an interesting clock. And she said, oh, she's had it for years. It's just been in one of the rooms in the house I never went into, so I never actually noticed it. So I said, well, how old is the clock? She said, it's an antique. It's about 85 years old. So I said, Grandma, you're older than the clock.
Yes. Yeah, not your most diplomatic moment, maybe.
Actually,
She was so proud.
yeah, I could do no wrong. It was
Yeah.
fine. I could do no
His
wrong.
grandma was his best friend, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
and we'll gloss over this comment about the fact that the clock was striking.
Very good. Very good. Miriam, how has your week been?
Thinking when you were saying about does time fly, does time go quickly? Yeah, time goes quickly, but I don't know. I'm busy. I keep myself occupied, although I say with nothing of any consequence. And I get to the end of the day and think, well, I haven't done that, and I could have done that, and I didn't fit that in. But
Miriam, you say nothing of any consequence, but what do you have sitting in jars in your house or to distribute to all your family that you've made for this time of year?
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I've just the maid, and for my after my supper this evening, I made Eccles cakes filled with mincemeat. Instead of mince pies, I made Eccles cakes.
Have you got any for sale?
Famous for her meat that she
Oh, right.
They're cool.
Oh, is it this Shabbat?
Yeah. Well, we've been making something of our own, actually.
Ooh.
This is going to be the big reveal. A couple of months in the
I
making.
think it's been 3 months in the making.
Wow.
This is the first. You're the first people to view this.
Ooh.
This is plum brandy vodka.
Plum vodka brandy.
So it's been sitting. It's vodka, sugar, and plums, and it's been sitting,
Vodka, sugar, and plum.
yeah, it's been sitting for 3 months, and we're going to try it for the first time on Shabbos. It's going to be our Shabbos Chanukah treat. So anyone who's walking past on Shabbos,
And sees us shikker outside.
on it will you can knock on and we'll pour you a l'chaim. We can't promise that it will taste nice, but you're welcome to.
You can always put
It's
it
all
in
right,
the
isn't it?
if you need to.
What was that?
I said you can always put it in the petrol tank if you need to.
Yeah. Thanks, Lawrence.
No, that's illegal. You're evading petrol duty. You
Yeah,
get
that's
prison for that.
You're right, man.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Thank you, Mr. Black Cabby. Appreciate that.
No, they had the big thing with diesel with that. Because the farmers' diesel was a lot cheaper. And they put colouring in it.
Tax.
I do have my Hanukkah gift this year. I'm sure I shared with you guys that over lockdown, the first lockdown, I made for my birthday present. I brewed beer for the first time, which was very exciting. And now it will be my. We're going for our.
We got a refill for Hanukkah.
my second brew, which hopefully will take me to our sabbatical, which will be in mid-February. So I'll have to pace myself a little bit, but it should be all right.
When we were first married, we made our own wine. We put it very carefully in a cupboard in the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
It exploded. I cannot.
But there's
Never again.
Yeah. It's quite limited what alcohol you're allowed to make, isn't it? You can't just make any alcoholic drink. So, like, obviously, this plum, it's just vodka with fruit put with it.
I thought wine. Anybody can make.
Henry said it was blackberry.
You can make wine. You could. What you can't do apparently is distill. You're not allowed to distill alcohol without paying a tax or whatever it is.
Only if you're in Kentucky.
In Kentucky or Scotland or wherever it is that you know. Which,
the prohibition.
as long as the tax man's not around, it should be absolutely fine.
Yes.
Because some of the Scottish distillers at the beginning of COVID started making hand sanitizer.
Yes.
And they had to get special permission not to charge the duty on it.
So
a lot of the gin distilleries did the same.
Yeah, we used hand sanitizer from a gin distillery, and it smelled so good. It really smelled like gin.
There's a young woman in our community who is I'm going to say this wrong, a perfumer. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
She makes perfumes, and she had gone to France to one of these academies on to become a professional certified, but she had to go home because of COVID. Because of what's going on, so now she's making her own different perfumes, and apparently the first scent that she's producing is a gin and tonic perfume.
Wonderful. I know
that will be very popular amongst many in our community.
Yes. Do you drink it or put it on your jeans?
I remember one of the apprentices things that they went on many years ago. They went to a perfumery and had to make a new perfume. It was interesting to watch, actually.
Yeah.
I've had a holiday in the south of France, and I had a day in a perfumery, and I made my own perfume.
Oh wow!
Get a bottle to bring back. Yes, well, you pay. It's part of what you pay for the day. Yes, and the recipe or whatever you call it is actually registered there. So in theory, I could go back and give my name, and they would dig it out.
Is it called Miriam's scent?
Something like that.
Would that have been in Grasse in the south of France?
Yes.
Very famous for perfumes.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that next time we go on holiday, we should do that instead of going to another distillery. What do we all think?
I'm probably the only person. I'm probably the only or one of a few people in the community who's actually had to apply for a license to have a still.
Who has?
I hadn't been teaching long, and I was responsible in a small school in South London, and I was responsible for the chemistry teaching, and we needed a still, and I was told I would have to show the license, so I had to sort out the license for it.
One second, is it still active? 1 second.
I knew Elkanah would ask you that.
1 second, is it still? Can we use that?
No, the license belonged to the school, not to me.
Oh.
And then you had to say what you wanted it for, which I was supposed to say for distilled water. And then they changed the law, changed the regulations so that schools could have stills and you didn't require licensing.
Well, you got the nursery at the shul, you're away.
Exactly. The nursery's not going to.
Yeah, the nursery never needs a still.
Yes.
For the chemical experiments, that's what.
Yeah, exactly.
You need
Exactly
to
what
make
a
alcohol.
3-year-old needs.
Well, you know what they say, better to learn young, that's how it is.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you guys, I had a few experiences today already with Hanukkah. One of them, well, two of them. One was in the Nita Dorfman. I was asked to light candles there, but of course I couldn't go in. So I did it on Zoom. And I did a Zoom candle lighting for them. Beaumont House also asked if I could come, and they allowed me to come, but they said I have to stand in the garden, and they're inside the building with the window open for me to light. And then I had a third lighting, which was outside, but kind of like one of these. It was attached to a particular residential complex, and that was just a regular lighting. Everyone was out there, and we were all there together. It's a very different Hanukkah.
Yeah.
It's a very different Hanukkah. And I know that we said, Stella, that compared to last year, it's all been changed, but already now, with just one evening, I've already really felt, and for some reason, the other Yom Tovim, although of course they were very, very different, but somehow it feels that Hanukkah, you could feel it more. And I was just wondering if anyone here was thinking about Hanukkah this year, or maybe you have the opposite feeling. Hanukkah is just lighting a candle, so it doesn't matter that much if you're with people, Zoom, not Zoom, however it might be. Just your thoughts, really.
I would say that Pesach and Hanukkah, to a greater degree, are home-based. You have the families for the Seder, and the Hanukkah lighting, you have the people coming round to your home so they're home-based. The other festivals are more shul-based.
So interesting.
And so that is the difference. Sorry?
It's still family together.
It is family together, but there's one thing being in a shul, there's another thing being in your home. Yeah. So, but I think that's where there is a difference. Sukkah is a little bit different because not everybody has a sukkah at home. So I would discount that a little bit, in as much as most people would come to shul for Sukkot and celebrate the Sukkah there rather than at home, although I'm not saying people don't. But Hanukkah at home is a family gathering, as is first and second night Seder. So there is a difference.
And am I right in thinking that the mitzvah is to light Hanukkah candles or Hanukkah lights at home, not in a public building?
That's right, but that's only half of it. It's true, the mitzvah is to light in your home, but also the mitzvah is to do it with as many people as possible to publicize the nace.
Which is why you put it in the window.
Yeah. And also why we tend to have family around.
Yeah.
When we do it as well, to share in the lights together. That's part of the mitzvah.
It's really interesting, Lawrence, what you said about it being at home. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but just before the chief rabbi spoke at one of the 8 nights of Hanukkah, the United Synagogue, I don't know if anyone got to see it, but he said exactly that about Hanukkah being about the celebration of home. I think, but besides Seder night, it's probably the most about our homes. And I think it's also really interesting how what we're celebrating is actually the difference between the Jewish culture and the Greek culture. Is so much to do with appreciating the beauty of what Judaism is, which is actually a home-based religion more than a shul-based religion. Obviously, shul is wonderful and shul is so important, but that's not the only place where where Judaism comes from. And actually, in terms of, Hanukkah, and he was saying chinuch and Hanukkah is the same word, that our Judaism comes from our homes. That's where we all have our Jewish feeling, is from the home we were raised in.
Yeah, but what a pity not to be with your children and be able to hug your grandchildren.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great. My two granddaughters popped round yesterday to see us, and we had to go down in the grounds and keep a distance. And all I wanted to do was throw my arms around them and hug them. And we would have done that Hanukkah normally. So it's a great loss. I mean, lovely to see them, but cherishing for a hug.
I was saying before you came on that we had a Hanukkah lighting ceremony on Zoom tonight with all the kids, and they all opened up their presents, and it wasn't quite the same, but it was nice. We all sung together and we all lit it at the same time.
So we're quite used to, because obviously Elchonan's parents are abroad, we're quite used to on different nights of Hanukkah, we video and we open the presents in front of them. But, for that's not for people around the corner. That's because they live overseas.
Sure.
We're going to be getting together as my family, and everyone sitting in their cars, and we'll park somewhere like in a car park. And maybe have pizza together, but like everyone's staying in their cars so that we're all safe, because we have to stay safe.
Sure. But don't you think Hanukkah's changed from when we were younger, in as much as we never had all these presents when we were young? I mean, we always had the candle lighting and the family around, and we used to get Hanukkah gelt, but never the amount of presents that our grandchildren get. I think
our children used to have a big present each night and never has a completion until the 8th night. That's the way we used to do it.
So one of the challenges for me of marrying an American was, instead of instead of keeping 3 hours between meat and milk, I now have to keep 6 hours, and boy do I grumble about it. But one of the really nice things was, actually my family always said that you don't do Hanukkah presents because it's Chukat Hagoyim. It's like Christmas. You're just trying to copy the non-Jews. Very, very against having Hanukkah presents. And we'd get Hanukkah gelt, and we'd have, the chocolate coins, and we'd get money, but they wouldn't buy presents. And then Elchanan entered our family. And now, I mean, my father will go, ho, 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 I come to give you Hanukkah presents. So we all love it now, because it's wonderful. I love presents. I love giving presents, and I love receiving presents, obviously. So it is really wonderful.
When I got engaged, we got engaged about a couple of weeks before Hanukkah. And I went back to Israel, but I arranged with a courier, a friend of mine. Don't worry, he checked all the packages before it went to the suitcase and everything like that. Obviously, goes without saying. But I had him bring to the UK Hanukkah presents for Jacqueline. And each night of Hanukkah, he rang the bell to bring another present for her. Do you have any idea how many brownie points I won for that?
Now, I never knew there was a difference between the 3 hours and 6 hours. So I've learned something tonight.
It's even worse than that.
Honestly, on a Shabbos lunch, I'm always looking at my clock, my watch, going, another 6 hours till I can eat milky.
But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. There's a 5-hour time difference between New York and London. And you've got to wait.
Don't do that.
I had my second daughter at the Beerstead, and they were very strict with the 3 hours, and other people kept 6 hours. It was very, very interesting. I learned a lot there.
We've actually told Malka that she should marry a Sephardi man from Amsterdam. That's what we're looking for, because if he's Sephardi, it means you can have rice on Pesach. And if he's from Amsterdam, it's 1 hour, isn't it? So I think that's what she should do, because then she'll get to change her.
And chicken is parov.
Well, that's pushing it. That's pushing it.
I think you've got to go back in time for that one, though.
Wasn't that Amsterdam at one time, or was that Belgium?
I think everyone.
I mean, once upon a time, poultry wasn't meaty until much later.
Do you not find with 6 hours that you stop and think before you eat meat how much meat is it that is it a nice big steak? only a little Vienna? I'm not sure that I want to make myself meaty for this.
There's a phenomenon called Fleischophobia, which I suffer from. Because there's no point becoming meaty unless it's really worth it.
Absolutely.
100%.
A woman after my own heart.
100%.
These days, there's so much, almond milk or soya milk.
Yeah.
It's different.
Not that, it's the dairy chocolate, Miriam.
Oh, I didn't realise you suffered from the same problem I did.
She has it bad. It's bad. It's really bad.
Some of the Paro chocolate these days is quite nice.
Nah.
Really, Martin? Not quite as good as the milk.
You'll have to give up on Amsterdam come January the 1st when we're out of Europe.
Why bring that up? We were having such a nice conversation. You had to mention the war. You had to mention the war.
We are actually out of Europe. It's just we don't have a trade deal. That's the difference. Unfortunately.
Semantics. Yeah, apparently, there was a very, very constructive dinner that took place last night between. So we're told.
Oh, really?
I doubt it.
Don't believe everything.
I think they were arguing whether you should have 3 hours or 6 hours.
Whether they were milkshake yet. That's what they wanted to know. Could they have the milky ice cream yet? So my friend actually married someone from, where's Danny from? He's from Scandinavia. Oh, is he? No, probably not. What is it? It's Amsterdam. Yeah. Amsterdam. And she said that now when she finishes, by the time they finish Shabbos lunch and they've benched, she can bring out the Haagen-Dazs. That's how to do it, isn't it?
Are those different best-in rulings in these countries? Why
No,
is the rulings?
Amsterdam's, that's their minhag.
It's an ancient traditions of how many, because I mean, not to take this as gospel, but really you're just not allowed to eat meat and milk together. The idea of waiting time in between is rabbinical, and therefore how much time to wait has different minhag, different traditions in different places develop. 6 hours has been the Eastern European, eventually American Israel way, and then you had 3 hours, which is more Germanic, which made its way to the UK. It's the Yekish minhag.
And Amsterdam.
More importantly, have we all checked our weight? Have we all checked our weight since lockdown?
That's another thing. Yeah.
Well, that's a different question.
I'm not sure Hanukkah is the best time to discuss that. This is about fried foods, but it is actually interesting because it does fit into what we're talking about. Is besides for the custom of eating fried food, actually there's a custom of having milky food as well. So, this is the time to. I mean, we all know Shavuot is all about cheesecake, but Hanukkah is also about having milky food because it was Judith who served milk or cheese, I think it was, and wine to the general Helifornis, and then she chopped off his head, and that was part of winning the Hanukkah miracle. It was the women who helped to win the Hanukkah miracle, so that's one of the reasons we have that custom as well.
Yeah, and out of all of our Yom Tovs, Hanukkah is the one which is very, very associated with our women, which is why when we light our candles for the first half an hour, women are able to put their feet up and get some well-deserved relaxation.
Which was why Elchanan ran out the door straight after candle lighting tonight.
And I screamed, "Put your feet up, darling!"
Yeah.
Oh, she just had half an hour now. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
And he even poured me a drink, so I can't complain.
What a mensch. What a mensch.
There you go.
What a thoughtful husband.
Well, this is a really special Shabbat coming up this week. It's not just Shabbat, it's also Hanukkah. And it's also a special happy birthday, isn't it? I'm waiting for her to notice. It's Miriam's birthday this Shabbat, isn't it? Miriam told me she's got lots of birthdays because she was born on Shabbos Hanukkah. So we wish you a happy birthday as well.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Nice.
What was that?
I missed that comment.
She said thank you.
Just thank you.
Well, yeah, we should celebrate the light in our lives. Tomorrow we will be lighting together at the right before Shabbat. We'll have the regular Kabbalah Shabbat.
What time is it? 2:15.
2:15.
2:15, I think, is it?
Is it? Yeah, because that's the, we've got
2:15.
yeah, we're going to have the United Synagogue Kabbalah Shabbat, which we'll share over Zoom, and also we're going to hopefully go across to watch the candle lighting in Shul as well.
Oh,
So it's
lovely.
going to be hectic.
And then Motzei Shabbat, there's a bit going on as well. So hey,
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we will be streaming the shir singing onto Zoom, onto Facebook, I think.
yeah,
So
Facebook.
you'll be able to
You'll be
part of the celebrations.
absolutely.
Lovely.
Good to catch in. We'll go make
Good.
sure that our chicken soup is now simmering nicely.
And go and put your feet up for another half an hour, Jackie.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll tell Elchon and you said so.
And enjoy your plums tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, and enjoy your milk.
Hello
Yeah.
for the ladies on Sunday
Shabbat
morning.
shalom.
Yes,
Happy
there's a
Hanukkah.
women's Hallel Sunday morning at 10. It's going to be a really special one this week, so make sure you come and join in the singing.
Have a good night, everyone. Chanukah Sameach. Bye.
Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye.